We help people start up businesses and we deliver government contracts over in the northeast of England to do that. And the government basically pays to help people start up businesses. And we go out on the grounds and help people looking to start up. So, Ben, if you wanted to set up as a musician, you would then come to us and we would support you. And we have to have evidence that we've supported you, and we have to fill in lots of paperwork, and we get that paperwork signed by signNow. We deal with quite a lot of people, like every month, probably 300-400 people, probably different people a month. There's quite a lot of people passing through our sort of services. And I'm the project manager, so I'm sort of, I don't want to say in charge of it all, but in terms of making sure that the system operates, that the service we're delivering is right, that we're getting enough people through, that we're delivering it properly, keeping the government here, our customer happy, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's who we are, and that's hopefully sort of told you roughly, broadly where signNow fits into all of that.
Yep, great. So who on your team is using signNow? You know, how widespread is it on the team or your department or the organization in general?
We've got about 33, 34 user licenses. It's a combination of business advisors who see people and a combination of admin staff who kind of do a lot of the support work for that.
When did you start using signNow? And then what was the situation before you adopted it? You know, what problems did you keep encountering that made you seek out an e-signature solution like this?
About a year ago, we started to look at the possibility of going down a slightly more digital. Sorry, I say a year before COVID. So 6 months, 3 or 4 months, end of 2019, we started to look at doing electronic work, and we went at that point with DocuSign, and it was expensive very quickly. And then we looked at other alternatives, and we know somebody else who was then using signNow recommended to us. And one thing, there's a couple of sort of selling points for us. One was the fact that you pay per user license rather than per envelope, which for us was a big thing, because we've got a small number, 20, 30, of very frequent users of it. So this is much more useful for us. And also, because when you're paying per envelope, you have to kind of hoard documents together, stockpile them, and then build up enough. You think, right, I'll take my £5 hit now and send it out. And that could be weeks and weeks after you've actually seen the person and they've forgotten who you are by then. Whereas this means we can go fast. So that's why we signed up we left DocuSign and moved to signNow back end of last year.
What features would you say are you using the most, or what's your most common workflow?
Probably only a 2 or 3 person workflow. And that's why your product is good, because we can do that at volume and do it cheaply, and also do it. It's easy. It's not an overly complex. Something for our needs are relatively basic in the big scheme of tech, and the fact that we can do that relatively easily. It's an easy to use system. It's cheap. It's effective. It's worked very well for that. We do sometimes have group sessions of delivery, so we'll have 10, 12 people signing it. And one thing that is quite good is that we can send it to one envelope or whatever, one document, to all 10, 12 people, and they can sign it as and when. We're not having to kind of route it round A to B to C and wait for the person first to come back off 2 weeks holiday before it then goes to B. We can send something out and they can all sign it, and that works beautifully for us. So our most common workflows are relatively small ones. The most common one is probably a 2-person signature, but 2 to 3, and some bigger ones, sort of 10 to 12 kind of level, but most of them are probably a 2-person flow.
What was it like getting signNow in place? How did you get people trained? How easy was it to get off the ground with it? How long did it take to get it set up and fully, ready to use?
Very quickly, partly because we needed to go pretty quickly. I pretty much just learnt the basics through playing around. I watched a couple of your videos, and then I just ran a little session for my colleagues, recorded that session, and then just pinged it around everybody. There's a couple of things we couldn't quite get our heads around that way, so we got in touch with Anastasia from the tech team, who actually jumped on a Zoom at one point and then just showed me what to do. Then I could then show I could record that session, show the rest of my team.
Have there been any, results that you can speak to? Any numbers, any time saved, money saved?
In this last year and a bit, since we've moved entirely pretty much entirely paperless, the amount of filing cabinets we've saved, which will ultimately equal office space and square footage.
Yep.
That's got a lot of money, and not to
Yeah.
mention better for the environment. Because you see, printing paper it's not a good thing to do for the environment. You really
Right.
don't have to. Like I say, you're going to have to drive places, you're going to have to fly places, all of that stuff. But paper, we can stop that now.
How has the coronavirus changed your attitude about digitization in general?
There's a lot more we can do in tech than we didn't realize we could do. You can do a lot more digitally than you realize you could do, and you don't need to do everything face to face. You can do stuff and then send stuff for signature. So I think there's certainly a lot. How things look like with us going forward in a year or two, who bloody well knows. But I think there's a lot that we can learn in terms of digital delivery, I think I'm in pretty much the same situation as those other guys I've been speaking to. There's a lot that we realised in hindsight we could have been doing some of this a lot earlier.
Yep.
Rather than being paper-based, because that's what you always did.